A good chest is solid, sturdy, nondescript, and can be secured with a lock of your choice. Those left on Vera after the fall are somewhat different. For one, they glow and chime, and they want to be found, as if they want to be opened. Nary a lock can be found, and there is always something inside. I'm not sure who left these caches of powerful weapons, but in the face of the ancients, I'll call them God-sent. Herner thought to himself, the nicest thing about axes is that even when they're dull, they still kill really good. He wiped down the axe head with a grimy rag that he kept for such an occasion, pulled out a whetstone, and set about restoring the blade. It had cut through the first set of armored soldiers passably enough, but he felt his effort increased on each opponent after that. He changed tactics with his changing weapon, aiming at heads, legs, and places where the crushing power of his axe was maximized. The axe did what was required, and while he was still alive, he was no closer to escaping the hell that Vera had become. Molly put the finishing touches on her current masterpiece, the Carrion's Wing. It was a set of super heavy plate, imbued with mithril lines which channeled the ambient essence of the environment. This magical filigree could then flex and contract the dense alloyed plates in response to the motion of whomever was wearing it, giving them unparalleled strength and mobility. If she could find a way to fabricate Carrion's Wing en masse, it would change how war was waged forever. The signs and symbols of magic have a way of weaving themselves into the fabric of reality. They can make metaphor material, as they did in Ashlar's case. He was someone who, even from a very young age, could be described as smoldering or fiery. What began as a simple elemental conjuring by a first year turned into a blaze that threatened to consume the entire west wing of the school. Ashlar, in a moment of magical inspiration, gathered the essence of the fire unto himself. The incredible energies lifted Ashlar into the air, and witnesses described two great wings of flame emanating from his back as he ejected the fire harmlessly into the sky. Now, in this moment, she had to get up, or all was surely lost. "Get up," she managed in a croaking whisper. She felt for the strands of essence, unable to see, unable to hear, all of it having gone wrong in this terrible place. "Get up," she said more forcefully, but still little more than a murmur. Evanita finally touched an essence strand that was familiar, warm, and she felt their friendship and love and all the things that let her know this was one of her compatriots. There was very little ambient essence in this area, so it had to come from her. "Get up!" she yelled, as her fists closed on that strand, and a fifth of her life drained into it. 4 more to go. A wizard's tome is a common trope in many bard tales. It's not without reason, though. While many mages can cast their spells without one, the very act of reading a properly inscribed spell focuses and channels essence in a way that recalling from memory does not. While the symbols and signs in one's mind can be made sharp and precise, it takes concentration and attention that might be in short supply on the battlefield. The longer and more complex a spell is, the more likely you are to see a mage holding a tome which contains that spell. They were gathered in the great hall, awash in eerie glow of everlights. Those in their seats were silent as the leaders of the Light Pack discussed amongst themselves which of those present would bear the mantle of the First Light. It was this group that the hopes and lives of every single living being on Vera were to be pinned. It would be the greatest honor ever given, and perhaps the greatest curse ever bestowed. Everyone and no one wanted to be chosen. When the meeting adjourned, Vera's fate was sealed and its champions crowned. They all hoped it would be enough. In this episode, we continue the story of the Light Pact. We're introduced to a remarkable young man named Ashlar, and learned of the existence of the Carrion's Wing. What wonders await us in the next episode? Stay with us as we continue to unravel the lore of Ashes of Creation Apocalypse by subscribing below.